When you don't join a life group at your church, you begin to feel isolated. When you feel isolated, you get a dog. When you get a dog, it destroys your apartment. When your dog destroys your apartment, your landlord kicks you out. When your landlord kicks you out, you move back in with your mother. And when you move back in with your mother walks in on you shaving your chest. Don't let your mother walk in on you shaving your chest. Join a life group today.
This Tuesday at 8:30 p.m., join us for the Mort Report. In-depth interviews with the people you thought you knew.
So, walk me through the process of what made you think that you could ever hope to fill the shoes of Pastor John Driver when you replaced him.
Well, I mean, I've got the whole background in education. I was a former coach, and so I feel like I connect well with the athlete. And
I once saw John Driver lift a car above his head.
A car?
Lifespan continues its commitment to excellence in broadcasting with our continuing coverage of the 2014 State of the Church Address. This portion of our program is brought to you by Testaments. Testaments, when your breath is ungodly.
Well, hello again, and welcome to the 2014 State of the Church Address Countdown. I'm your host, Chet Simpson. With me, as always, Mort Wellington.
Glad to be here, Chet.
Mort, if you would, give us some insight into Pastor Andrew's mindset right now as he prepares for this historic address. What do you think he and his team are doing last minute to get ready for this?
Great question, Chad, but I have no idea since I've been asked to stay a minimum of 100 yards from him. I do know this much. His security detail means business. I've been tased 6 times already, and it hurts, even when you're ready for it.
That's good to know. Well, 2013 was an interesting year indeed for Pastor Wharton, having narrowly avoided a church shutdown. Non-essential services were cut for a few weeks, but order was restored by the end of the year.
That's right, Chad. If Pastor Andrew knows what's good for him, he'll take my advice going forward.
And what advice did you give him?
Well, with so many people accessing our services from home, I urged him to look into using drones to help facilitate the offering and communion process. It just makes sense to me.
Drones, don't you think that's a dangerous idea?
No, Chet. I believe it was the Apostle Paul who said, "I've become all things to all people, so that by all means I might save some." If Paul was here today, I'm sure he'd be operating a remote-controlled flying robot. That's the essence of the gospel.
But don't you feel that all this technology is intrusive to people's privacy?
Not at all. People love having visitors come to their house unannounced. I used to do it all the time when I worked with my father, selling doors door to door.
And let me get this straight. Your father was a door-to-door door salesman.
That's right.
How do you even get a job like that?
Well, there's a screening process.
Well, let's take a commercial break and we'll be right back.
When you don't get your coffee before church, you get grumpy. When you get grumpy, you say something stupid to your wife. When you say something stupid to your wife, you feel regret. When you feel regret, you wish you could change the past. When you wish you could change the past, you build a time machine. When you build a time machine, you go to the wrong century. And when you go to the wrong century, you get shot at by George Washington. Don't get shot at by George Washington. Get a coffee before church.
This Tuesday at 8:30 p.m., join us for the Mort Report. In-depth interviews with the people you thought you knew.
Now, ministry's hard, and I know you're not supposed to play favorites, but let's be honest, like, who is your favorite student in your ministry?
I mean, in our type of ministry, we try not to pick favorites. We try to.
Yeah, I know you have to say that, but who is it? Come on, give me a name.
I mean, I guess if I had to give you a name, Josh Jackson.
I'm not familiar with that student.
Oh, he doesn't go here.
When you don't join a life group, you feel disconnected. When you feel disconnected, you watch action movies on TV. When you watch action movies on TV, you lose touch with reality. When you lose touch with reality, you feel overconfident. When you feel overconfident, you walk slowly away from explosions. And when you walk slowly away from explosions, your clothes catch on fire. Don't let your clothes catch on fire. Join a life group today.
And welcome back. While we await Pastor Andrew's speech, let's discuss some other events of the past year. You know, world missions once again was a top priority for the people of Life Assembly, with teams heading off to far-flung places all over the globe, including trips to Bolivia and Romania.
That's right, Chad. Going overseas to a foreign land for the first time can really ignite a passion for the people there. I saw it firsthand a few months ago after a week-long journey with my wife. As soon as we set foot in Cancun, I knew that God was calling us to minister to the needs of the resort community.
Wait a minute, are you talking about Cancun, Mexico?
Well, not the whole city, really, just the hotel zone. We call our ministry all-inclusive, and we meet every other Tuesday night poolside.
Mort, you're making a mockery of ministry. I don't see how...
I may have thought so too, Chad, until I met young Billy here. Look at his sad, tan little face. I asked him how he ended up here, and he said they were brought over to the island, piled onto boats and planes by the hundreds. And then he showed me a building where he was staying. There were over 750 people staying in that one building, and most of them were paying for internet access and only drinking what someone would bring them. And a lot of these drinks are watered down, Chad. It's heartbreaking.
Mort, tourists in Cancun are there on vacation. They have money or else they wouldn't be there. They're not suffering.
Exactly, Chad, and that's the problem. Remember, it's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than it is for the rich man to get into heaven. That's where I come in.
And what exactly do you mean by that?
Someone's got to get behind the camel and push.
Are you serious right now?
Absolutely. Pastor Andrew even gave me his blessing just last week and told me I should work on raising support.
I find it hard to believe Pastor Andrew would say that. Why don't you tell me exactly what he said to you?
I told him all about my idea, and he looked me right in the eye and he said, "Go and get some professional help."
Well, I couldn't agree more. I'm receiving word now that the Speaker of the House, Pastor John Driver, is preparing to take the stage and begin the proceedings.